Okay, hey everybody, it's Brendon. Welcome to the Growth Day morning show. Today is a special day because we have back with us the one and only and the super requested yesterday. Where's Jamie Kern Lima? There she is right here. I'm going to pull in Jamie for our Growth Day morning show. We are continuing our. I shared about the value, the importance, the breakthroughs of how do you increase focus and discipline when it's so friggin' hard, when it's so discouraging, when it's so difficult to stay focused in a very distracted and busy world. So no one is probably busier in this moment in super launch window than Jamie Kern Lima. So thank you for joining us today.
Yes. Oh my gosh, it's great to be here. I was sending those FOMO texts yesterday, having to miss the morning show for all the press for the book launch, big book launch stuff. But it's the only day. I was with Brendon. It's the only day. Every other day we'll be here. So yeah, I'm so grateful to be here. I love the focus this week on the Growth Day morning show, because we're in a world where it's so easy to be distracted and to lose focus. And I love reading all the comments from everyone in our morning show saying, like, I'm struggling with focus, because it's easy to have, to start a goal or to say, okay, I'm going to start, the book or any of the things we're doing. And then all of a sudden life happens, a week goes by, and we're like, wait a minute, how do I regain the focus? And then another big topic too is just, how do I intentionally focus on the right things? And so I think this is a big week on Growth Day morning show. Growth Day morning show.
Hey guys, welcome back to Growth Day morning show. If you guys missed it the last couple days, we're back. Sorry, Facebook, we see you. We love you guys. We had some tech issues. I was streaming into so many Facebook pages and groups. It just kind of broke the system. So we're back. We're here. And we are here today to bring a little bit of encouragement, a little motivation, a little good energy to the beginning of your day, which is always hard to do when you're busy, when you're doing things. But I'm always here to say, with Growth Day, putting personal development in your ears every day is so important for your mindset, for your state of being, especially when you have difficult days. Like, I know Jamie and I, even as we're going through things in our own life, when we finish the show, we feel better, because we're talking about, like, you have to speak into the energy you want to experience in life. And sometimes it's hard. Like, we just came out of a difficult morning together, and yet we're here to serve. And I think we're going to feel awesome at the end of it, because we both love serving and cheering people on. And I love you, Jamie. So thank you for being here today.
I love you too. Yeah. I love everyone part of our community. This is really, really special what we're doing. And I know a lot of you are hopping on for the first time, because I read all the messages the best I can, Brendon. And so many people say, like, oh, I just saw the morning show for the first time ever. And I know that on one hand, we're just starting this, right? On the other hand, we're in week 8 of doing this morning show together. And, for those of you who are just joining, the whole really dream and vision and idea is, so many of us are looking for ways to come together, to have connection, to boost joy, to start our days out with boosting joy, bringing the joy, and inspiration and hope and stories and connections and frameworks, and just starting our day out growing. So that's what the show's all about. If you're wondering what's going on, that's what it's all about. And if you know someone, I always forget to say this, so let me just say it. Brendon and I do this for free because we just feel like serving fills our heart, but also coming together, all together, is just so inspiring and uplifting. And if you know somebody right now in your life who could use a boost of hope and a boost of inspiration, a boost of joy, and a boost of connection, and just like aliveness, right? Tag them in the comments, because they'll see it either in Facebook or Instagram. Tag them in the comments, invite them to join. Like, this is a party where everyone's invited. This is a place where everyone's invited. And, Brendon, I always say this saying that Jackie, you've now met my friend Jackie.
She's awesome.
She's awesome. She's been my girlfriend over 20 years. And she has a sign outside of her house that says, "Come as you are, stay as long as you'd like." And every time I see that sign, I just feel like, that feeling when you feel welcome and you feel like you belong. It's the best feeling. And that's my hope for this show, is everyone feels like they can come as they are, stay as long as they like, that they belong here. And I think we can all come from different parts of the world, and let us know, by the way, where you're coming in from this morning. Let us know where you're coming in from, but we can come from different parts of the world.
People on Facebook right now are pumped. We're back on Facebook. So
Yay!
I see you guys. Thank you for tuning in. We used to be broadcasting into like 12 different pages and groups, and we kind of broke the system doing that. So wherever you're watching, thank you for being here. Our topic is on focus and discipline. Yesterday, I talked about how, we have to realign our weeks sometimes. Actually, I was on the Growth Day members only area yesterday talking about how aliveness and connection and meaning are what we're after.
Yeah.
And if you feel like you're lacking focus sometimes, maybe it's because what you're doing isn't the things that brings you enthusiasm, joy, purpose, mission, meaning. Maybe it's sometimes you're just tired. You're wiped out. So your focus isn't there because your physical well-being, you're just tired and exhausted. And so it's hard to stay focused and disciplined. And also I shared yesterday, Jamie, on Instagram about how, sometimes the reason we're not focused and disciplined is because every time we try to do something, we speak so negatively of ourselves that of course the brain doesn't look forward to trying again, because every time we try again, we apply self-hate and negative speaking to ourselves. And our brain just goes, I don't want to do that, because you're just going to feel discouraged and you're going to hate on yourself. And so learning to focus and move forward with like positive affirmation for self, which you teach me a lot about, honestly, is helping people realize, oh, when I do that, I feel good when I get momentum. Of course I want to get momentum today. Of course I want to take action today, because when I do that, I honor and I respect myself. I get momentum. That feels good. It gives me more competency and capabilities. Okay, that feels good. So I feel like focus is not always just like, what do you do with your blocks of time? It's how are you speaking to yourself and treating yourself, and what are you really working towards? Because if you're treating yourself and speaking to yourself well, and you have that buoyant energy mentally and emotionally, spiritually, that comes from honoring self, and you're doing things that you really care about, focus and discipline get way easier.
Yeah, that's so good. The words we say to ourselves about ourselves are like the most powerful words, right? And I think that's really big. And I think, this is a really important topic for everybody, whether you're an entrepreneur or someone starting a dream or someone just looking to grow or have a better relationship or a better family, that a lot of times, like, and when people do the self-analysis, Brendon, I think this is really powerful, because I think we all realize, oh, sometimes we're guilty of this, like that we say things to ourselves about us that we would never, ever even think about saying to another person. You know what I mean?
Truth.
Like, for some of us, it's easy to see our friend and go, wow, they're an amazing parent. But then to ourselves, we're like, oh, I can't, like, I made the frozen microwave dinner for the third day in a row. I'm like the things we say to ourselves, right? That we would never. And also when it comes to focus, I feel like it's easier for us to focus on celebrating other people and celebrating all the things they're doing right. And then when we focus on ourselves, it's the opposite. And then we start telling ourselves in our own head, we focus and hone in on the things we're not doing enough of, or the things we're not doing right. And then those get bigger. And I think it's a really powerful thing. And even an exercise to do this week, by the way, to really just take note of and be aware of the things that you're saying to other people who you love and care about or work with or just met in the coffee shop. The things you say to other people, and then even write down 5 or 10 of the things you actually say to yourself in your own head. And even just doing that simple exercise, it's eye-opening. It's eye-opening.
Yeah, if most people heard their internal chatter, they would have so much sympathy for themselves. They'd say, oh my gosh, I can't believe I speak to myself that way. No wonder I'm not focused. I feel terrible. What's so important, I think, in this new world where everyone's so busy and distracted, we're all doing these things, is to really elevate the conversation about wellness, well-being. We learned that in the high performance research, right? It's like the highest performers, the longest term successful people across the world in 190 countries, the top 10 to 15% of most successful people in both well-being and happiness, positive relationships, and external success, like wealth or perceived goal attainment. that well-being piece, the sense that they have positive health, mental, emotional, physical, was critical to their long-term drive and success. And so some of you, you've been so like, Jamie and I keep reminding people, like there's times in your life when you're in your launch window, when you are so focused and you are so disciplined, some things get compromised. Like I'm sure Jamie would love more sleep and more time with her family, hands down, right? And friends and people, right? We all have these launch windows. But in general, we have to make sure we are always training our mind and our body to be at ease, to be at peace, to be in a wellspring of health, because then it's so much easier to be focused and disciplined. People ask me all the time, like, how do you create this much content for this many years? I'm like, because I feel good. You know, I had a brain injury in 2011, and I had a huge book deadline. We had passed like 4 million people on Facebook following us. We had, you know, that was I think one of my first years earning like tens of millions of dollars. I had no idea what the hell was going on. Life was just going so fast. I felt like I was in launch windows all the time. And then I got in an accident and got post-concussive syndrome. And I felt terrible. And I, you know, snapped my wrist off. So if you ever see my wrist, I got this big piece of metal in here. I, you know, threw out my hip, dislocated shoulder, broke a bunch of ribs. And most importantly, I scrambled my eggs. You know, I got my brain rattled pretty hard. And I had 6 months after that where I struggled so much with not just focus, not just discipline, just feeling like even showing up. Just feeling like even showing up, let alone focus for an hour, let alone be disciplined, you know, to say no to the bad things and yes to the right things. I just feeling like showing up was so friggin' hard. And it was so awful of an experience. I said, I am going to learn to completely optimize my brain health. I'm going to learn to repair my body. That's when I got into like a ton of mobility work, a ton of flexibility work, started like training differently so that I had greater range of motion. It's when I said, you know what, I'm going to do all the things in the morning to set my brain up for success throughout the day. You know, that's what the original version of the high performance planner was born. Just, I did that for myself so I could organize myself and just set yourself up for success. Because I feel like the good news is if you suffered or you felt bad, you know, you don't want that anymore. So how are you training yourself to be better? That's what high performance is all about. How are we training ourselves to be better so that it's actually easier to perform than have to like grit and bear it and like, I don't have to like fight to create joy and content in my life because I take so good care of myself that it flows, right? That I'm not blocking source. I'm not blocking my heart. I'm not blocking those things. And I think that's been a big secret to my success.
That's huge. I didn't know that's where the high performance planner originated, actually.
Because I was a hot mess. Look, it's right here today. Look, this is the high performance planner. I write my daily version on it because I have my journal version too. So I feel it's like even this morning, I'm lost without that piece. But I also just want to encourage everybody, if you've never had, I say this to high performance people all the time, if you've never had that 1 year of your life where you absolutely went for it to take care of your brain health and your physical health, if you've never had that year, give yourself the gift of that this year. You'll be so, most people have no idea how terrible they feel until they feel great. And then they're like, oh, I want to live here. I want to feel great. So train yourself for that. Train yourself. I think you'll all be surprised. You don't have to run marathons or do crazy superhuman biohacking ninjutsu on your, you know, you don't have to take 1 million supplements. What we need you to do is ask, how can you take care of yourself better? Because I promise the focus and discipline gets easier.
You know, that's so good. I see a lot of people in the comments too talking about like one small step at a time, taking that step. And I think something you just said is huge because we're always typically so focused on goals with our career or our families or this or that. And you're kind of just saying like when you feel so good, when you feel good and you feel the day, everything else is at a whole other level too, right? So it's like that foundational piece. And, you know, for me, that's a big thing coming up this year is focusing on health for a decade. building at cosmetics, building this company. But like Brendon, for the first 3 years of the business, I could never, I was in the season of rejection and setback where it was like 3 years of everyone saying no. And then by the time we started getting momentum and by the time we started growing, I almost couldn't believe the success was happening for a while, or that I was worthy of it, or that I deserved it, or that all of that imposter syndrome kicked over. And I was just driving myself so hard to the point of burnout for a number of years. And I always felt like I had to strike while the iron's hot. And the one thing that I look back on and wish I had done differently was I don't think you have to live in burnout or in that grind to actually have the kind of outcome that you want, right? And so for me, that's this year when you talk about, and everyone joining us right now on the Growth Day Morning Show. By the way, we haven't done a cheers today with our Growth Day mugs yet.
Oh, we haven't. Cheers.
Cheers, everyone.
Look at this side. I love our logo. Oh my God.
And
remember I showed you the logo and you just went nuts for it. I was like, oh, thank God, because Jamie's so good at brand packaging and brand building and everything else like that. And you liked it. And I was like, okay, good. If Jamie likes it, this is a winner, you know?
Well, you know what I love is like, I try to think about all the ways someone will have Growth Day in their life. And I see it like so big, and I see it, but I just imagine, you know, sometimes you hop on your phone and you scroll through apps, and I imagine like, I'd want to see this logo because it makes me feel like, oh, it's gonna, you know, not just uplift my day and have like sunrise faith, but then also, you know, you're actually growing. You're actually moving forward with all the things on the list. And I don't know, there's something about it right away because you had a bunch of different options. And I was like, boom, that one. I loved it right away. But yeah, I'm glad that you see it and you're happy. By the way, I know a lot of you guys are cheersing with us in your morning.
Oh yeah, good morning.
No judgment, whatever's in your
Just water over here. Just water over here.
You have water.
It's the first thing I'm always asked, like, you guys are too hyper. What are you drinking?
Yeah,
you got
what's
coffee
in those mugs?
What's your coffee choice
so
today?
I'm in the hotel room day 15 right now, right? And I day
You've 15, been there 15 days?
15 days. So 15 days, if anyone wants a little behind the scenes of this, 15 days. And, you know, I got here a week before the live event, and just the details and just setting it all up, just doing whatever I wanted. No regrets. I wanted, if anyone is going to bless me with their time, being part of our morning show or part of anything, like I know how precious people's time is. So I wanted to just deliver however I could. And so, yeah, I got out here a week early and just like all the details. And then, and I'm here a couple more days, just getting through the launch. And I just decided, because it's like these big, long 20-hour days with all the press interviews, which is such a blessing. It is a gift that I get to do that. But yeah, in a hotel room still. So this morning, hotel Keurig. I have a Keurig. I travel with my own, I try to bring my own food. Keurig, caramel K-Cup Keurig, if anyone has that. But I will say, in all honesty, the night of the event, I had my coffee mug with wine in it that night. I had the coffee mug
Not weird.
With the wine. Like, with wine.
Let's not go back to my brain health comments right now. But
no, but you know, talking about this, I love something you just said. I think is so powerful. Someone needs to hear it with us right now. Probably me too, and a lot of other people maybe live with us right now. But this idea of, if you've never given yourself that 1 year pouring into your health, into your wellness, right? That's probably the thing I'm most committed to this next year. And it's not just for me, it's for my family, for how can I serve at the highest level and give and serve and impact. And when you don't feel good, right? It's like this morning, I was so tired this morning. I didn't want to do my morning walk, but I know when I do it, it's that one small step, right? A lot of you in the comments keep talking about the one small step. It's like, okay, this is one step in the right direction. And Brendon, I was walking outside the hotel room this morning, and all of a sudden I hear this bird. It's so loud. I'm like, what is this? And it's a wild parrot.
Oh, yeah.
On a tree. Yeah. And then I start walking and it starts following me. And then there's a bunch of parrots. And I'm like, this is the funniest. It was the coolest thing ever. But one time on the Growth Day Morning Show, I talked about a leaf. And this morning, I'm like, there's a wild parrot, and just like little things that help us feel the day and feel alive. Because I started that walk tired, but I ended it just like, you know, I write poetry a lot that I never published. But just one day
I didn't know that.
Yeah. And one day
Wow.
I wrote this idea that like what if being alive is our greatest love story that's just waiting on us to say yes? And I just wrote all about it one night,
Beautiful.
just in private.
Beautiful.
And I was like, but so often we're not saying yes. You know what I mean? And we don't actually feel the day, to use your words. And I don't know, something you just said I think is so powerful, because a lot of us haven't given ourselves permission to go, you know what, this year I'm going to invest in my wellness, and I still have to show up to things I don't want to show up for. I still all the stuff, but in the space I do have, or the time I do have, or the energy I can give, what if I just go all in? I
Yeah.
think that's
I think people
really
would be
big.
stunned, like simple things like that you can do. Like Denise and I are having a dry month this month, so no wine this month. And, you know, simple things of getting your workout routines figured out. Like, what are they going to be this week? What are they going to be next week? Whether you need to get a trainer or something else like that, or you finally block the time in the morning for you to work out or to take care of your mental health, wellness, like whatever it takes, like optimize it, figure out for you.
Yeah.
And I've encouraged people to do this, you know, since High Performance Academy 15 years ago. Every audience ever, I encourage them to take this challenge. And we have tens of thousands of people come back like, oh my God, I finally started doing this, or I lost this much weight, or I tried to do this thing, or I finally, you know, finally took a day off. Like, so simple. Like, it's never like extraordinary life change things. It's like, oh, I finally decided and committed that I deserve to feel good. And when I feel good, I treat my family better. When I feel good, it's easier to stay focused on the project. When I feel good, I do my art better. When I feel, it's just like so simple of a thing. I feel like what happens in the productivity world often is people separate focus from feeling. And I'm here to say, like, those babies are so aligned, you forgot. Like, authors know this. If you don't feel good, trying to write a whole book is so hard. Like, you might knock out that one chapter, but to complete the book takes so much discipline. But again, discipline's easier if you feel good and you're aligned with what is true. I think focus and discipline comes from something I wrote about. Some of you guys read High Performance Habits. In High Performance Habits, we open up one of the chapters with the story of this woman who was so extremely successful, who I was blessed to coach. And she learned this distinction that, like many of you, getting things done, a to-do list, staying focused, that's not hard, because achievement is not the problem. Alignment is. When we align with our truth, when we align with our voice, when we align with our source or our spirit or our heart, our gift from God, whatever it is, when we align with what is true and best and highest of ourselves, the focus and discipline almost take care of themselves. When we align with what's truest and best and highest of ourselves, the focus and discipline almost take care of themselves. And so I think it is about getting our life aligned to what really matters to us, even if that takes, you know, a lot of courage. Even if that means leaving one thing or one person to try a new thing, or if it means taking that first step and you're doing your side hustle, or it means finally you just like speak up for yourself. Whatever it is, that greater alignment makes everything else fall into more place. Like I know I'm so aligned with my purpose and my mission. That's how I've done it for this many years. I also know that there's so many other things I can't focus on or be distracted by because they're not my thing and I suck at them. Can I achieve them? Yes. Should I do them? No. This is the example I always give. I always say, this is so obnoxious, but you might like it. I would say, all my friends know this saying. I say, everyone goes, Brendon, you'd be so good at X. You'd be so good at running this company or starting that brand, or you'd be so good at, you know, as this type of person or playing this role or whatever. And I always go, yes, I would also be a great bank robber. But it doesn't mean I should do it.
Yeah.
Just because you can doesn't mean you should. Just because you have capability and skill doesn't mean you should say yes. Just because you know how to help someone doesn't mean you take it on. Just because you know how to do something for somebody. Like, that's that's the difference between achievement and alignment. You know,
That's
like
so
I could write a movie on how to rob a bank. I got all the ideas. I think I could do these cool little fun things just because, like, you know, you ever watch the Thomas Crown Affair?
No.
It's like this art heist movie, and it's really smart, and like it's you know, it's not a bad guy, it's someone doing something good, but anyway, it's just like planning things and executing things. I'm so good at that, but I don't align for doing that for bad things.
Right.
right? Just because I'd be good at robbing a bank doesn't mean I should. Just because you'd be good at doing what your friend wants you to do doesn't mean you should. Just because you'd be good at, your parents said you had to be a doctor and you know you could be good at it, but you don't feel it in your heart, doesn't mean you should. Alignment versus achievement, breakthrough.
So good. And so many people are showing up for the friend a certain way because they can, and they're a great listener, but it doesn't mean they should. I think that's powerful, right?
Yes.
So many people are making career decisions because of what they're good at, but it's a whole different thing to think about, oh, wait, what's alignment? What am I in alignment with?
Yeah.
Huge. It's a huge
And people make
shift.
the mistake all the time, Jamie. They think they have to figure out their life's purpose forever and align to that. What I have found to be true in spiritual training, and I've been trying in my own mindfulness journey for a very long time. And what I've learned from all the masters in that field I've interviewed or worked with or been a student of is alignment that's actually more like a day-to-day aligning with what's integrity, aligning with what's right that day. And it's like you kind of, it's like life is kind of like this, but over a period of time, it kind of becomes a little more like this. So don't think you have to figure out this right now when you're 20s and you know your life's purpose when you're 80. It's like, no, just every day do and say and be more true of who you are. Every day. And one day you're going to be like, oh, this is me. Oh, this is my thing. A lot of people, I didn't know this was going to be my thing at all. It wasn't like I had a big epiphany. That's my thing. It was, I found so much joy in teaching. And as I taught more and I learned how to do it more and I did more teaching, I learned that teaching was my purpose. I learned that teaching was a source of flow for me. I had no idea. I thought I was going to be like a journalist maybe, or a photographer, a landscaper. I was painting chicken coops at one point. I drove truck. I had all these crazy jobs, but they didn't feel true to me. And I just kept honoring and listening, like, what is true to me? What is true to me? What is true to me? And over a period of time, I promise you guys will find that. I hope that helps you.
So good. So good on a Wednesday.
Can I get an amen on a Wednesday? Let's go.
Wednesday morning.
Growth day. I want to thank Jamie for being back on with us today. I'm always encouraged and fired up every time we get to chat. And I want to recognize all of you who have supported her book. You can see it right behind her left shoulder there. Believe It is her new book. It debuted on Amazon in the top spot, #1 new release, #1 on Barnes & Noble. You got to go get this book, Believe It, by Jamie Kern Lima. And if you're not yet a Growth Day member, go to growthday.com, because we do live coaching for members only with the world's best personal development trainers every Tuesday and Thursday. And you can get in, you can attend live or watch the replays when you are a member. Go to growthday.com. I'll pin it up in this little sexy Instagram thingy over here. And I hope that you guys will take advantage of our offer right now, because it's unbelievable that you get Growth Day for an entire year for less than $1 a day, which is crazy. So I hope you all appreciate that. What a great session. Jamie, good seeing you. Thank you for today.
Yeah, thank you for today. Thank you, everyone. Thank you, everyone, for this growth day. Every day is a good day to grow, right, Brendon?
That's it, guys. Remember, you're always stronger than you think. The future holds good things for you. Even if today sucked, or the morning sucked, or yesterday was tough, or you feel bad emotions, or something you're struggling with, this day is still, you still got the whole day. You can still reset. You can still feel good, because every day it's a good day to grow. Thanks, everybody. Thanks, Jamie.